What's up, movie fans? Guys, we just got Spider-Man Brand New Day, the fourth MCU Spider-Man movie, and one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I have been so excited for this film for pretty self-explanatory reasons. And one thing that was really interesting is I actually wasn't worried about this movie at all, which is welcome because I have been going into pretty much every MCU movie that has come out in the last few years cautiously optimistic because of the state of the MCU right now. But with Spider-Man Brand New Day, I was pretty confident that this movie was going to be good. I don't know why exactly, it's just the MCU is starting to get back on track. Fantastic Four was good, Thunderbolts was good. Every previous MCU Spider-Man movie has been good in my personal opinion. They had a good director at the helm of this movie, Destin Daniel Cretton. He did Shang-Chi. He makes good movies. So, yeah, in general, I was pretty confident that this movie was going to live up to my expectations, and it did. I absolutely loved Spider-Man Brand New Day. This is a great movie. I'm not going to delay the verdict here. I'm just going to say right at the beginning, this movie was pretty much everything that I wanted it to be. Of the 4 MCU Spider-Man movies that we have gotten, this is the one that feels the most like classic Spider-Man. What I mean by that is, even though I like the Home trilogy, I do have to admit those movies can get a little bit above Spider-Man's pay grade. Like, they do have more world-ending stakes than Spider-Man movies normally have, and they're also not in New York a lot. Homecoming is kind of condensed to street level, but it also goes outside of New York. You have Spider-Man in the suburbs, you have him in Washington, D.C., you have him on a boat, you have him on a plane. Far From Home was straight up in Europe, and even though No Way Home was street level in New York, it still had a ton of multiverse shenanigans going on, and it had world-ending stakes. So all of those movies kind of go above the typical street-level Spider-Man type storyline. This movie is just a normal street-level Spider-Man movie. You have him in New York the entire movie, and you have him doing normal Spider-Man stuff. Helping citizens, helping the police, interacting with the people, and fighting low-level supervillains. There are a lot of random villains who just make tiny little cameos in this movie for Spider-Man to just quickly beat them up and catch them, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Like, there are a lot of villains who were in the trailers for this movie who are not in the movie that much, like Boomerang, Tarantula, Ramrod. Those are just cameo characters. Scorpion has a little bit more to do, but even he isn't really that involved in the plot of this movie, which honestly I think is kind of funny because, like, Michael Mando has been waiting to play this character for nearly 10 years, and they finally give him the opportunity to, and he has, like, maybe 5 minutes of screen time in the movie. Another thing that I really, really liked about Brand New Day is this movie gives Spider-Man a great character arc. Obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home ended with Doctor Strange casting a spell that made everyone in the world forget who Peter Parker is, and this movie deals with the fallout of that. Peter is alone in this movie, and he's pretty depressed, and I actually felt, like, really, really bad for him. Like, this is probably the saddest that Spider-Man has ever been, and I thought Tom Holland's performance in this movie was amazing. He managed to convey, like, that loneliness very, very well. And as the movie goes on, you kind of have this character arc where Peter realizes that he's not better off not having anybody else in his life, and it's detrimental to his mental health. And I think that was like a really interesting, really human arc to give him, and I really, really enjoyed that. Once again, like, this is probably Tom Holland's best performance as Spider-Man in the MCU thus far. I thought he did a great job in this movie. He just gets better at playing this character with every movie that he's in. MJ and Ned return in this movie. I saw a lot of people kind of worried about that because a lot of people were like, well, they can't remember Peter. If they remember Peter, then that would devalue the ending of No Way Home, so why are they even in the movie? I thought a lot of those complaints and worries were pretty silly. Like, you don't know what they're going to do with them in this movie. And go figure, I actually really, really liked the way that they used them in this movie. I thought everything that they did with Ned and MJ was really, really heartbreaking. Every, like, big emotional moment with them really landed and felt earned. I don't think anything that they did with them devalued No Way Home in any way. While we're talking about MJ and Ned, I should probably talk about some other side characters in this movie. Tramell Tillman's in this movie. That was cool. That's Mr. Milchick from Severance, for those of you who don't know Ball. Tina from The Bear was in this movie. That was pretty cool. Okay, let's move on to the other MCU characters. There are a lot of other MCU characters who show up in this movie, which personally I don't mind at all. I think it's cool to have just random characters from throughout the MCU show up in these Spider-Man movies. It builds out the world a little bit more. I didn't think any of them felt intrusive. This is still very much a Spider-Man centered story. There's one that I don't want to talk about at all because they weren't in the trailers at all. I knew they were going to be in this movie because I pay attention to leaks and stuff, but I don't want to spoil it if you don't know. But the other two are Hulk and Punisher, and I really liked what they did with the two of them. Starting with Hulk, I liked Bruce Banner in this movie. I like that he is like this older version of the character who is kind of free from the burden of the Hulk. I thought that was cool. And then when he does become Hulk again in this movie, because that's shown in the trailers, when he becomes Savage Hulk, it was just so cool to see him again. We haven't seen, like, normal Savage Hulk since Thor Ragnarok 9 years ago, so it was awesome to see him in this movie. Super welcome. And then I absolutely loved Punisher in this movie. Hulk is more of an extended cameo. He's only in this movie for, like, a little bit. Punisher is in this movie the entire film. He is important to the entire plot of the movie, and I thought that was awesome. I loved his interactions with Spider-Man. They have a really, really fun dynamic. It's similar to what Punisher has with Daredevil in the Netflix side of the MCU, but I thought it was just different enough, and to be honest, I actually thought this was more fun. I just really thought that Tom Holland and John Bernthal just did a great job interacting with each other, probably because they are actually friends in real life. And then the other thing that I want to say is I actually got way more attached to the relationship between these two characters than I was expecting. Like, let me put it this way. Punisher and Daredevil have been interacting with each other in the MCU for a long time, and to me, they still kind of just feel like co-workers. After one movie, Punisher and Spider-Man feel like friends, and I thought that that was really, really cool and unexpected. There is a villain in this movie. obviously, it has a villain, but I can't say anything about them. They were very much hidden from all of the marketing. I actually knew they were going to be in this movie because, once again, I pay attention to leaks and speculation and stuff, but I don't want to say anything in case you don't know. But what I will say, I really liked the villain of this movie. I thought they did a great job with this character. They were sympathetic, they were menacing, they were just a great antagonist. That's all I'm gonna say. Another important thing that I have to bring up with this movie, I thought the direction was amazing. This is the first MCU Spider-Man movie not to be directed by Jon Watts, and as much as I defend Jon Watts, I gotta be honest, his direction was not missed. Destin Daniel Cretton is just a way better director. I thought the way that he framed certain scenes, especially the swinging scenes, was just super creative and well thought out. There were just a ton of amazing, well choreographed action sequences in this movie. Not as good as what Destin Daniel Cretton did with Shang-Chi, but still really good. I thought in general this was a very, very well directed movie with a great story, some great characters, and a classic Spider-Man feel to it. And that's genuinely all I wanted from it, and I got all of that. Do I have problems with it? Not really, like a few nitpicks here and there. I don't know if I cared that much for Scorpion in this movie. It's like I said, it is kind of disappointing that they set him up like 9 years ago, and then in this movie, they barely did anything with him. And the other thing is that he is, for some reason, a part of, like, the main villain of the movie's plot. Like, they need him for something at a certain point. And I didn't even really realize until after I finished the movie, I don't really know why he was important to that plot. Like, he had absolutely nothing to do with it, and it was kind of strange. They didn't really explain that. I feel like that's really the only, like, big nitpick that I want to mention. Otherwise, I really, really love this movie. I think I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Like, this was an amazing movie, an amazing Spider-Man movie. I highly recommend it. And the other thing that I'm gonna say before we finish off this video is the MCU has had 3 good movies in a row now. That's pretty encouraging because they've been hit or miss for a long time, but suddenly they're making really good movies again. I'm not gonna say the MCU is back or anything because that really does ride on Doomsday. Like, Doomsday is the movie that really is their make or break moment. It's encouraging, I'm gonna say that. Okay, that's really about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below what were your thoughts on Spider-Man Brand New Day if you've seen it. And see ya, movie fans.